Hello friends, it's Techman Pat here. Hope you are well. Now first off, this is a big weekend for the Rugby World Cup, so expect me to tweet about that all weekend. Now depending when I release this video, we're going to have some winners and losers. We have Australia, England, New Zealand and Ireland all playing today. Also, I have been thinking that the news update name is a bit generic. Let me know in the comments below what a good name for the segment should be. Put that in a comment and the most liked comment could be it. Unless obviously YouTube deems it to be bad, but you know, we shall see. On the note of winners, to start off this news update, I want to congratulate our local winner, the one and only Andy Penn, on getting a small but fair rise in his pay packet. 5 million reasons to be the best CEO Telstra has ever seen. Let's give him a round of applause. Well, Telstra shareholders this week approved the new pay deal, much to the dismay of the unions, and that's that. Their calls went to voicemail, nothing can be done about it. Andy Penn continues to bolster his own pay packet while overseeing one of the biggest axing of jobs in Australian corporate history. Happy days, I suppose. Now there are some big stories to cover this weekend, so before we get into this big topic of NBN Co sponsored internet ranking created report by Alpha Beta, let's do a quick round of public service announcements, and the one above it wasn't it just yet. This time another security issue mainly around Android users. If you are planning on getting the new Pixel 4, do note that if you are using facial recognition as a means of security to access your phone, it can be unlocked with your eyes closed. Well, what does that mean? Well, if someone is snooping around and wants to unlock your phone and you are, let's say, asleep in the room, they certainly could do that with no issue at all, but just pointing the phone at your face. Secondly, if you are an owner of the new Galaxy S10 series of phones from Samsung and you're using their inner screen fingerprint, you better make sure you didn't add your fingerprint into the phone when there was a screen protector on your phone. Because it seems that for those who did add their fingerprint when the screen protector was on their device, it will cause the phone to unlock their device with any fingerprint from anybody. So, a bit of a security issue. I believe that when, for example, Face ID was released, it immediately put Apple 2 to 3 years ahead of everyone else. Actually, leagues ahead. It's why I keep coming back to Apple. Whenever anyone likes it or not, they are the authority on smartphones. They single-handedly created the market, and their Face ID tech is unmatched, though many try to come close. Okay, with that covered, let's get into the big stories this week. Now, NBN is a bit of a hard topic to discuss these days. On the one hand, it's good to keep the momentum going and make sure that people are aware of what's happening out there. But on the other, it's pretty slow-moving snail with no finish line in sight. So while NBN Co keeps on keeping, we look to Alpha Beta, NBN Co's latest hire. If you remember, a few months back, Alpha Beta was announced as a third party who will look at making a new internet speed index for NBN Co, a report of sorts. So see if they can massage the numbers and get away from number 59 in the world. That report has now been released and it will make a video specifically about it, but today's video is to summarize what has come out of it. Also, if you want to read it, I have linked it below in the description. It's a fairly big, wordy report. Alpha Beta was founded in 2015 by economists with considerable experience in both academia and private sector consulting, combining academic rigor with commercial relevance to help solve world's most pressing issues. That's straight from their website page, and one thing that caught my eye is this line: "We are independent and ethical, committed to maintaining client confidentiality and honest about what we know and what we don't. We reject work that we think has questionable ethical implications." Note that last part. So you may be wondering why I'm pointing this out. Well, it seems that Alpha Beta is really massaging the data here. So look, I don't know how much these guys are getting paid, but I bet it's a pretty penny. Maybe NBN Co could roll out fiber to a whole town with one of their invoices. We don't know. I'm not suggesting, maybe implying. So what has Alpha Beta said? Well, the report claims that since NBN speeds are unreliable, which nobody would contest, the speed that needs to be counted when computing Australia's rank in the world is the speed that your internet provider sells to you. I'm not joking. I'll give you an example. I'm going to sell you a 10-liter bottle of gas. I don't know how much gas is in there. You'll just have to find out when you get home. But on average, after a few customers complained to me, it works out to be about maybe 2 liters. Let me give you a bit of context to that. If you buy a 100/40 megabits plan, what they are saying is that the speed that is advertised as purchasable is what should be counted, not the actual speed you're experiencing when you connect online or when it is peak time. No, not the actual speed, just the one that they sell you on paper. I'm not joking, this is not a skit. They want to count what is being sold as the max attainable rate on a plan as the actual speed that people connect with. Maybe they're thinking that people who have a lower speed won't buy the highest plan, but I don't know. Now, even on my fiber to the premises in my previous home, it was usually around 90 to 98 download. Never a perfect 100, even though that's what I was paying for. So why would Alpha Beta not take that into consideration? Why would they do that? Well, they aren't sharing that information, and that report is a little bit vague on that too. And again, I'll do a really long video about the report specifically. The report, which claims that the NBN is connecting 8 million homes and businesses, the figures cited in all financial reports have seen is 12 million. When asked about Ookla speed tests, Alpha Beta responded with, "International speed comparisons are challenging and many global speed test ranking present a misleading comparison of internet broadband speeds. These rankings are problematic as speed test samples are typically small, unrepresentative, and highly volatile. Rankings also do not account for cross-country differences in broadband availability, population, and geography." Thing is, Alpha Beta is not a technology company. They are a consultancy that, as I mentioned above, they are just combining academic rigor with commercial relevance to help solve the world's most pressing issues. Now, obviously, NBN Co paid these guys enough to make it a pressing issue. But I will question if there is no questionable ethical implications when you shift the goalposts of the widely adopted game to the other side. They continued with, "Australia's average broadband speed is comparable to those of peer countries. This report finds that Australia ranks 17th amongst comparable economics based on data representative of all broadband users and accounting for significant cross-country differences in the share of households with access to fixed-line broadband. Projecting forward to the full rollout of the NBN, Australia's rank would rise to 13th amongst comparable countries." So not only are they saying that Australia, based on their version of the report, is 17th, no. In the future, when NBN rolls it out fully to all of Australia, we're going to be 13th amongst comparable countries. That's a bit of a caveat right there. To summarize, Alpha Beta doesn't understand the technology. They are saying that Ookla speed tests are nowhere near the truth, that only fixed-line broadband users use it. Apparently the samples are too small, volatile, and not trustworthy. Which means they are also calling out companies like Akamai, the original creator and provider of the statistics data that we've seen in the media, well, one of them anyway. Alpha Beta argues that the current index of internet speeds doesn't account for population, geographical, cost, and the complexity of providing internet services to customers. They went as far as to say that about counting homes without broadband services. They are making up their own rules on how data should be gathered. Now, in my mind, Ookla, Akamai, and MLabs actually, their business practice are important to capture the data as fairly and as wildly as possible. Now, removing all the BS, what are we trying to calculate here? It's the average speed of internet services per country. And to do that, all we need is the speed of every connection available in that country, tested and then put against an Excel spreadsheet, nothing more. We don't need to know where these people live exactly, what address, what color they are, what religion, and what they had for breakfast. It doesn't matter. We want to know the speed their premises get, and we want to know how that ranks against other countries. Now, one argument that Alpha Beta is making that could ring true is, what about the premises that don't have internet? Do you count those as zero? Because you take some countries where many people don't have access to the internet, and those few that do have the great connection, the great speeds, and are probably living in metro cities. Look, in my opinion, no, you don't count premises that don't have connections. In these statistics, we are not looking at how many people are connected, but the speed that is available to the people that are connected. The average speed available in that country when you have an internet connection. If you don't, you'll probably go on mobile, which is also counted. There should be nothing more to it than that. Instead, we have this state-sponsored propaganda survey, and let's not mince words, this is a 21st century paid-for propaganda. They hired an outside firm to create a report that makes them look good, and that's it. This report should not be believed. It should be left to rot away on somebody's server in an email. Now, NBN Co has spent money on this, and that really pisses me off. Instead of working on improving their services, they are playing a political game against themselves. Actually, against the people who pay their taxes and pay for NBN Co. Friends, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I will chat to you there. I would love to add a few choice words here and there, but YouTube will probably demonetize it and I won't get my $10. And the algorithm won't spread this story, which is probably more important. So I'll leave it up to the comments below. Ultimately, the problem stems from not treating the internet like a utility, like water or electricity. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed these updates. If so, tap that like button. If you would like to see more content like this, then consider subscribing. And if it's something of interest to maybe some of your friends, please share it around. Thanks for watching. Bye!